The latest development is now he's being now he's being
Welcome back, everybody.
now he's being brought up on charges for rape.
What?
Yeah, because every one of those bullets forcefully entered another person's body.
No, I don't think it was forcefully.
They did not want bullets penetrating their body, so now the feminist group is gonna have him arrested or have him charged with rape too.
Wow. Early episode loading symbol right there. No, I watched it. I watched his testimony, his defense.
Yeah, I watched that one too.
And that was like an hour long.
Yeah.
Did
you see the video where the judge kind of lost it on the prosecutor?
Yeah. Yeah. Watching the judge though, for anyone who doesn't know the whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing, that's the August of
15th,
2020.
Yeah.
During the, what was it in Wisconsin? What city? Kenosha?
Yes.
Sorry. There was the unrest and all the protests going on over there. Well, he, according to the prosecution, crossed state lines, went to this thing, got involved with the...
Which one works? I was just curious. I just realized
that one.
Okay.
That's the third one. Got involved with the protest, and then his defenses, he was defending himself, shot 3 people, 2 of them died.
Yep.
With a rifle. What kind of rifle was it?
An AR.
It was an AR style rifle, but what was the round? It was not a
223, not a 5.56.
No. Oh, I just read
it too.
I heard it yesterday. I can't remember what it was. It was not a large round at all. It's a hollow point. It was a hollow point that I know.
Cop killer.
It's what police often use. It's hollow point. But it was not a large round.
Oh fuck.
They huh? Oh.
All I hear is that's all I just heard.
They
You gotta let those people out of your basement, dude.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Anyway, so yeah, it wasn't a large round. So he shot 3, killed 2, wounded the 3rd, and now they're trying to come down on him, saying it was what is he being charged for?
Premeditated. They want him.
I
don't know
if it was manslaughter. But there's a laundry list of different charges going down. So yeah, I watched the. That's what I was getting to. When I was watching some of the video of the trial, I almost want to. It seems like there's really not much to have against him, and I know apparently now they're bringing in the National Guard in preparation for what's like the final verdict, the whole trial. So, which kind of gives you an idea of where this is going to go. But if you listen to the trial, I don't really know. They're not going to get him. They're at least not going to get him for everything they want to get him for.
I think. Well, here's the thing. The last little bit I was just recapping because I'd seen it before, but I missed. I wanted to really center on the judge's not testimony, the judge's statement. Like, because he got a little heated. You could tell he was not happy.
Are you talking on the prosecution?
Yeah, towards the prosecution.
Yeah.
There was the one part in Rittenhouse's state testimony where he makes the comment about, he said, the prosecution was like, you said you were an EMT. Yes. You said this and that.
Oh yeah. They asked them if that was his. I believe that was his lawyer. They was asking him a bunch of questions of because he worked in corrections or something like that.
No, this part is because he goes on to say, so why, with you having the training, whatever, why didn't you try to help the one gentleman he had shot? 3
Right.
times. He goes, because after I fired, the mob started.
Yeah, there was a
gathering,
mob going after him.
and they said, "Get him, get him, get him."
Mm-hmm.
But if you actually watch the video, because he plays it, it's like Exhibit 14 or something, I think is what he called it. Number 14, yeah. It was the recording of that first shot, of the 3 shots. And, I mean, it's very discouraging because, I mean, I'm not saying, it's very, not discouraging, sorry. It's very detrimental. Because in that video, you don't see the crowd instantly start going at
There's no mob or anything?
There's no mob. There's nobody screaming, "Get him, get him, get him." That's going to hurt the kid. I mean, to pick a side at this point, I mean, having just started over the last couple of days to catch up on it and really, like, learn the finite details of it all, it's a back and forth thing. I mean, there are instances where, yeah, it was in self-defense. Like, there's the one guy there's the picture. He's got his arm in front of the gun,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got a pistol aimed at Rittenhouse.
Right.
You know, and then he's got jewelry and longer hair. Do you know which one I'm talking about? I forgot his name. He was giving a testimony because he was one of the people, I think he was the third one who got shot and injured. His testimony is fucking tweaked. He goes, the defense is like questioning him, and he goes, "Did you, in this picture, are you aiming the gun at him?" He goes, "Yes." He goes, "Now when your arms were up, did he point his gun at you?"
Oh, when he kept denying, and then they finally got him to admit to everything he's denying. Something
Yeah.
about, were you aiming the gun at what's his face?
goes,
Kyle's head. Yeah, Ritten's head. And he
yes.
said no.
Well,
and they're
no-
like, well, did you like take the gun out and like in defense? Whatever the questions were, like his first initial thing was he denied it, and then they were like, well, what about? And they just kind of broke it down like piece by piece by piece.
Well, there's
and,
the
like,
picture too.
yeah, and then it's like, is this you? Not you? He's like, yes, it is me.
Oh yeah, it changed fast.
Yeah.
I mean, in that instance, that's going to be very beneficial for Rittenhouse because, I mean, the guy. There's one part I remember watching his testimony where he goes, "So when you attacked him, well, when you followed him, when you chased him, you were chasing after him, correct? That is incorrect. But you pursued him with intent. Yes. So you chased him. No. Wait, what?
Yeah, I
Wait,
don't
what?
know. You know what I'm afraid is going to happen is the verdict is going to be to appease the mob.
I don't think so.
As long as it's not that.
I think it's going to be a fair decision. I'm not crazy. I'm hearing that. Okay. Your face says it all. I don't think it's going to be to appease the mob. I think it's going to be a fair decision. But this is where the mob appeasement's going to come in. If it's for Rittenhouse, they're not going to let it go.
No.
They're going to try to drag him into another court. They're going to bring him up to the next level. If they say no, if it's for him, it's going to be, they're going to drag him through the system again. They're going to try to bring him up another step. They're going to. I got OJ went to Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
This will too, if he's dismissed. But if he's found guilty,
You think there's going to be riots either way?
oh yeah, I don't. Well, no, I don't. It's really weird because I was just watching a TikTok earlier.
Which is the worst place to get your news,
Well, no,
by
no,
the
no.
way.
No. It's not the news.
Don't.
It's a basis for an opinion. This video that I'm bringing up, it was of a gay guy. He says he was born in the South, and he came out in 2010 when he was 13, when it was still don't ask, don't tell. You could still lose your job for being gay. Gay marriage wasn't legal.
2013, really?
2010, he was 13.
Oh, even so. It seems
there was
like late in the game you could still lose your job. Like maybe
it wasn't. It was
like military, maybe, but
no. It was still like demographically. Like a lot of light had been brought to the fact that this was going on,
right.
but there was still incidences of this going on. It's kind of like the fizzle out. Like the.
How'd that go again? So you all at home understand how the fizzle goes.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, this is by request. You have to drink that. You want to know why?
Why? First and foremost, who requested it?
Me.
Oh, you asshole.
When I go through, this is brought to my attention though. When I go through these videos and I edit them, or which I don't really edit, I just pretty much just slap it on, intro, outro, go.
We need to start.
The person that clears their throat the most
It's me.
by tenfold at least because somebody doesn't drink water. So
I brought
more soda junk.
it's not soda.
Oh, what is it? Caffeinated?
It's,
How much sugar's in it? Rockstar. Okay, end of discussion. Anyway,
It's fruit punch.
so there is your flavored water. I even went out and got flavored. Well, I did, but there's flavored water because some people get all about actual water. Anyway, yeah. So that's Rittenhouse. There's really not like I.
Well, hold on, really quick.
This is like an ASMR video right now. It's
Fuck you. I don't know how I feel about it yet.
it's not completely unhealthy, but it's not quite healthy, so I think I'm okay.
50 milligrams of sodium in this thing. That's the only 2% of my daily value. But so yeah, the gay guy.
Oh yeah, all right.
And he's like, he got bullied for it. He was 13. He got bullied for it because he was
Naturally.
But
Kids are evil.
and this is going to make the viewing audience at home laugh. He's like, he would come out 100 times over before admitting he was a Republican again because the violence that was enacted.
Yeah.
And I don't mean verbal. I mean physical. The physical violence that was enacted against him because of it.
Yeah.
He was going through the list of what happened. I was like, oh my God. Like,
You don't have
it's better to come out that you're gay than it is that you're a Republican.
Yeah, you don't have to. You didn't even have to finish that because I've seen instances in minorities, black specifically, and gays. Probably not the same one, but I think it was on YouTube. Actually, I was watching something of a gay guy. It might have been the same one that was just clipped or something. But
Younger dude, maybe early 20s. Looks like
maybe closer to our age.
Somewhat physically attractive. Like, I don't mean it in a gay way. Because you're an attractive dude. Like, you take care of yourself. You're in shape. You know, you have a job.
He's the gayest member of the show. But
I've never touched a penis, including my own. Fact check that. OnlyFans.
Well, I'll put the link at the bottom of the.
Put the link right here.
No, I saw the same thing, or relatively the same thing. And the amount of hate that comes out of, we'll call it extreme left, because I'm not going to just lump together everybody in one demographic or one side of the argument. But the amount of hate that comes out of the extreme left, if you come out per se and say, well, I'm more conservative, or I'm a Republican, it's the equivalent of what they are preaching that racists or quote unquote racists are doing to the oppressed, and how whoever is doing to the gay community. Like, it's that same level of oppression, that same level of hate, just blanket statement hate. And it's baffling because that is okay, but what they're preaching against is not. Wrap your head around that. Yeah. Anyway, though, but
real quick. So we talked earlier, not on the show. We discussed earlier about
Australia.
No,
because you brought that up.
I did bring that up. The prison.
Internment camps.
Concentration camps, not concentration.
Well, whatever.
The vax camp thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You said
because that was an earlier episode. You made mention of there was a loophole or something that they found that they could put vax or unvaccinated people in basically internment camp kind of deal. Like in World War II, when they took...
No. The comment I made, I remember, the comment I made was, because you just merged two comments, actually. The comment I made was that a southern governor of some state made the remark that he was going to round up all the unvaxxed and put them into an encampment.
Right.
Like the war camps for the Japanese during...
Japanese Americans, right.
Yes. Or concentration camps for the Jews.
Right.
I did research that. I did look back into that. And I'm glad you brought it up because I honestly forgot all about it. Political satire. They're dismissing it on the fact that he made it in a moment of a joking manner.
All right, so he said it,
So,
whether or not it was with actual intent.
This governor was brought...
who was it? What state? We'll have to have a part 3 of this.
We'll have to have a part 3 because there was... he had to go on record to say it was political satire because it was during...
Oh, he did. All right, so he had a PR rep go, listen, you got to...
Because there was an election process coming up of some sort. Of course
there was.
And his approval rating went...
Yeah, of course. Of course it did.
But the other statement about because of the vaccine loophole thing, that was the Second Amendment.
Yeah,
that was coming. Right. That one, though...
That's more out there.
That's all conspiracy theory, like reaching for the stars kind of thing, because, you know... Or is it gene therapy? You know, a lot of stuff nowadays, like you were mentioning before earlier.
Frog gene mutation from
all kinds of stuff.
Runoff, birth control, and
we'll even use like the Joe Rogan situation with the Invectum or
ivermectin.
You know, that was engineered and stuff like that, so that it could be used in humans too. So molecular engineering, genetic engineering on a molecular level now goes into almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little too extremist.
Yeah, that's just a fun one, maybe. What else? Just random news. The James OKeefe, the FBI rating James OKeefe, and
Project Veritas.
Now I sent you that video because that one that one came from Tim Pool's podcast.
Yeah,
I have never seen Tim Pool go Alex Jones red. Like
they are fucking.
Oh yeah, he went off. I'm like. As you're listening to him, you're like, wow, it's like that one mild-tempered parent that never yells, and then that one day when he just flips out, and everyone's just like...
I actually put the phone down. I'm like, I think he's yelling at me.
Yeah. Even though I'm watching on the computer, there was something in the back, like some childlike thing in my head. I'm like, oh, what did I do?
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
But you watch it and you never see him get that heated and like, wow, he went off.
Of all the things we've talked about and all the links we sent back and forth together, like even the little stuff where it's like, oh, it's kind of interesting. A few videos. Okay, cool. I have an opinion now. That was one, dude. I found myself for about 3 hours straight. Like, oh my God, I gotta read more. Oh my God, I gotta read more. Oh my God, a video. Oh my God.
Oh, just going one to one to one.
Like, I could not help. Like, that was the blue pill. Neo into the mirror. It's like, let's go. I'm involved. That's what that was, because the first article I brought up, and so Google, I like Google, but now I have a very, let me see what I'm looking into first on Google from now on, because Google, there you go. All right, Google, yeah, it's weird on this side. I think I prefer it behind me, not in front of me.
Yeah, experiment, but trying to, anyway.
I typed Project Veritas, and the first thing it brought up was an article about who said it, about Project Veritas' tactics being espionage, like spy tactics.
Yeah.
And it was a dig on Project Veritas. I'm like, really? Google, come on. Yeah. The first thing it brings up is a slander article on Project Veritas.
If you search...
now, really quick, the only reason I bring that up is because, you know, Google's Google. Google follows the rules, but I've always looked at Google with a very universal opinion. Like, it's never.
They should have no opinion.
Exactly. I've looked at it with a universal filter. Like, it's not going to be more left, more right, more red, more blue, more.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
But
I had to dig. Like, I had to dig to find some positive articles about Project Veritas. And I'm like,
lately in the last year, especially, if you try to find any positive right-leaning opinion or news, anything that the opposing side doesn't like, it takes a while to get go through things. Unless you're going to direct websites, searching it takes a while to actually scroll through and find it. And it shouldn't be. Google should be completely, like you say, universal thought should be completely
neutral.
A neutral. It's not even a news source. It's just a search engine.
Yeah,
it should be neutral. You would think. Time to go back to dogpile.com.
Ask Jeeves.
Yeah.
Or Bing. Bing's the other one.
Bing is another one. Yeah.
Bing was a big one for a while.
I don't even know if
Bing is still around.
Are they?
Bing is like the free one. Like, you have to go on to Bing to look up Google to download the Google browser search engine now. A lot of, like, some computers, it automatically, as soon as you click Internet Explorer, Bing comes up. So you type in Google, and bring up Google Chrome, download it, install, good, delete Bing.
And then you forget Bing.
No, Bing's like the one night stand that taught you how to put the condom on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put it in my butt.
That's where. All right. Well, yeah, that's just like kind of a recap on just news that happened in the last like week or so. Yeah, 'cause you haven't been back in like 2 weeks because you missed last week. So
yeah, I missed the 3-panel. Which,
so it was a 2-panel last week.
Yeah, it was very discouraging that I was not able to attend that. But
I think
I had a.
We're gonna do another one in the middle of the week.
Okay, I'm down. My schedule is back to what it was, so now I have the luxury of being here.
Yeah, I think sometime in the middle of the week.
Then
it's going to be a review on Shang-Chi. And,
the Marvel
Eternals, and going over the whole Disney.
Yeah, I watched that
day thing.
The Disney Plus day. So I watched a little bit of that.
We're going to talk about that. I didn't even know about it till that day.
It was actually kind of cool because
I'm going to save it for
X-Men 97 was another thing they announced. That one, I was like, yes, Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah, throwback to the 90s. But so I'm going to cover that with.
But the Project Veritas thing, like, and I don't know if it's actually pictures like of pages of her diary, but if you Google Ashley Biden diary, like, it brings up pages of what looks like a diary that was written in.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that kind of stuff like that.
I know, but.
You know how many things I've seen from either TikTok videos you or whoever sent me, or I've just come across, and it's this like horribly incriminating something on either side of the argument, and then you just do the slightest bit of digging, and you're like, well, that's debunked right off the bat. But then there's so many people that, like I've said before, like I've talked to Rich before, and I'm like, the worst thing you could do is go to social media to get your news. Yeah. Just for that reason right there. Because out of like 10% of the reasonable stuff you get, there's 90% is just garbage.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I have TikTok, obviously. I have Twitter, I have Instagram. I have 99% of the social media platforms. So get ready to start seeing a lot more of us. Because I'm going to start using my...
If you want.
I mean, if we had 1,000...
This is the best we can do.
If we can get up to 1,000 subscribers, let's promise the audience something.
Like what?
Like an underwear podcast.
You're on your own for that one. I'm not doing that.
Of course.
I am not doing that. Those days are over.
I'm not saying we have to be in, like, naked. I'm just saying let's wear some fucking creepy shit.
That's like every day for you. Just constantly dressed in black.
What's wrong? There's nothing wrong with my outfit. The audience loves it.
Of course they do. All right, anyway.
They love our passion.
So
they like me for my personality. But they never call me back the morning after. Fucking Christ.
We've amassed a special group, I guess.
Yes, we have. And really quick before you go, have you been reading the comments? We don't get too many comments. We've gotten a few like good jobs.
I get comments more in person, believe it or not.
I know, but how can we interact with the viewers at home if they don't comment?
Listen, I am not a stickler in anything. Do as you will.
Well, no, because now that we are like advanced, like we've really gotten into.
I know like the protocol for, but anyone who actually knows me, I have an issue with protocol, unless it has to do with like the fire industry where it could actually save your life. Anything outside of that, why do I have to do it the way everyone wants you to do it? But the protocol for social media is like, comment, subscribe, share it, do all this, and like tell them to do it. It's like, listen, if you like what you see, then go ahead and share it. Whatever. If you have something you want to say, go ahead and say it. That's fine.
Yeah, but I want to get the interaction with the audience at home to the point where they're like, hey, Charlie, while you're there, scratch your balls and tweet your nickels. Whatever. Loading. Scratch your balls and tweak your nipples.
There's our first TikTok video right there. I want the interaction. Scratch your balls and tweak your nipples. I can't even say it wrong.
Fuck you. Drinking your water, which, I think the roofie's kicking in.
Yeah, it was a clear fizz.
Yeah. So you were saying, sorry, you were going into the topic at hand, and I keep bouncing.
We're talking about tweaking nickels.
80. There you go. You said it wrong. Tweeping nickels.
Tweeping nickels. Yes, the plan has come full. Yes.
That's my asshole.
The actual topic.
Yeah, let's get into that finally.
Did I shoot you the topic? What? Yeah, I shot you this one. You shot the. All right, yeah. Was talking about prophecy.
Yeah, okay, so
as I do a Jedi.
These are the droids I'm looking for.
That's right.
I typed in, like, you just sent me in a message. You didn't send me a link or anything. So when I typed in Google prophecies.
Oh yeah, I just said prophecy.
Yeah, I was like, okay, is this a topic of discussion or is there actually some news behind it?
No, just topic of discussion.
Okay, because I mean, I've read a few random things that I'm like, I really don't want to talk about this kind of stupid shit.
I didn't realize how deep this rabbit hole is gonna go.
Was that 2 pages of notes I just saw?
I have 4 pages of notes. Normally when I do a show, a page, maybe a page and a half, 2 pages if we get deep.
Yeah.
I started taking notes and started listening. And initially I was like, this not exactly was like, I had an idea for something and then it turned into something else. And then I started taking notes, and then one thing led to another, and then I just kept taking notes, and then it just kept leading to another to another. I started with, first, the idea just popped into my head. I'm like, are prophecies something that we make up as people to, like, the biggest problem people have is not knowing something. Like, we have to have an order to something. We have to have, A happened because of B, which happened because of C. There has to be like natural order to everything. Yeah. And is prophecy something that we've created to make sense of the one thing we know nothing about and never will, the future? It's like that's something to kind of solidify something. At least a lot of the prophecies you read about, they always talk retrospectively. Well, 9/11 was prophesized here. Maybe not. Because it's one of those things, well, you look at this prophecy that was written 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, or in some cases 200 years ago, and be like, well, look, they have this generalization, this symbolic thing, and then they piece things together. Sometimes it's really shaky, other times not so shaky. Sometimes it's almost dead on.
Do you remember John Edwards, I think his name was?
Oh, what a sham.
The medium guy?
Yeah.
I think...
that was on right after Sightings back in the day.
Yeah, like he would sit there and talk to a random person from the audience, like, yeah, your grandfather says he loves you.
What's your name? Jan. Your name is Jan. You're good. Yeah.
That's...
Even as a kid, I'd watch about 5 minutes of it and like, no.
You know what's funny? I actually watched quite a few episodes of that show, and it was because if you watched enough, you started to learn they have the technique to being able to do that.
Yeah, but why would only a con artist would... Well, all right. Well,
fuck you. Yeah, because I can get whatever I want with the right words.
Why would you...
If that's the case,
you didn't learn
my
enough.
dick would be sore. A lot. And not from burning sensations. That's normal.
I never got into it.
Well, it's not so much that, like, not for like the con artist aspect of it, but like to be able to manipulate an opinion out of somebody and then make them think it's their own conclusion. Like they came to that conclusion. Like, you know, what was the new movie with Woody Harrelson, the kid who played Mark Zuckerberg in Facebook, the Facebook movie. It was the Magic movie.
Magic movie.
Oh God! Now You See Me.
I don't even know if I did see. The
oh
trailer,
my God!
I don't remember it.
Now You See. I believe it's called Now You See Me. There's a sequel.
I vaguely remember.
Basically, these magicians are not magicians. These masters of their craft. Like I forgot what the kid's name is. Who plays? He plays in Zombieland.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, him. He plays like the magician. Woody Harrelson plays like the mental linguist. Like he's able to read people's minds and stuff like that. There was another dude who's a pickpocket, great with sleight of hand. And then the girl was the escape artist, I believe. I don't remember specifically. But that movie, the kid who played in the movie Zombieland, oh God, all these actors are in my face. Oh, fuck shit. Load bar, please. Give me a load bar.
They oh
good God.
Yeah.
There's a scene where they're on the plane and that guy, he's like, so I'm gonna try to do what he does, Woody Harrelson. He goes, all right, God, let me see what you got. He's like, oh, you're someone's old, you live with grandma, you had a dog named Itchy, blah 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 blah. You know, you didn't trust this. He's like, actually, my birthday was this, and my cat Sarah or whatever, without even knowing. Because all he wanted to do was prove that this kid sucked at it. He ended up giving all the information he needed to get all the security questions to access his bank accounts, all of his financial records and everything, and then they steal all the money from him and stuff like that.
Right.
So this guy thinking, haha, you're terrible at it. This is actually I had a pet cat, Sarah, and it was my favorite pet. And I didn't grow up in Stockton, whatever. I grew up in Dublin. Gave all the information he needed. That's what I saw, and I'm like, huh. It's funny when you stop and think about that now. Prophesy. Let's go back to the prophecy aspect of it. When you make a prophecy, are you looking at subjective reality, pointing out all the obvious?
There's water. Right
I've been drinking the water, you fucker. You point out all the subtle
nuances.
Not nuances. Obviousies? Obvious. The obvious subtle things that no one seems to notice. Like, you don't pay attention to your carpet every day, but there's runs. So I could there's runs in the carpet. You point out, you make a general point to point out the obvious little subtleties that no one notices.
Subtleties?
Subtleties, whatever. I didn't even take my jug of water. And then you make a general statement based off that. I mean, that's any man's game. And with so many people not being sure of the future, especially fucking nowadays, with how fucking crazy today is, no one wants to even imagine. Because as of late, all the fucking crazy shit you can imagine is actually fucking coming to fruition.
Mm-hmm. Actually, you'd say it was like, well, there's no way that could happen. And then a week later, it's like, well, I was wrong.
Yeah, because now over in Australia, because I know you talked about that earlier, and we did a whole thing on Australia.
Yeah.
The New Wales government or whatever, what's it called? New Wales Bureau? whatever.
I don't know. I know nothing about it. I didn't even look
Their
into it.
political system, it's NSW, but it means New something Wales or New Wales something. It's like their government in a sense. They actually now are instituting the policy, much like France, where QR code.
Really?
QR code for vaccinations, and if you don't check in, you can be arrested and imprisoned for up to 6 months and given a $5,000 fine.
Boy, if that doesn't fit in with what I'm about to say later.
Prophecy. See, I even prophesized it.
Yeah. So, really.
So with the prophecy thing, though, I mean, it's like...
No, you sent me a thing with Australia. Interesting. What? Perfect. But you sent me a thing on fines. Something about fines in Australia.
Yeah. That was... They're talking about literally being able to arrest you and because the companies don't want to police anymore.
Right.
They're not going to. But that's where the QR check-ins and stuff is coming in. Now they're going to develop this whole system based on being able to check in with your QR code, with your vaccination proof, your vaccination passport. This way you can go in and out of
on your phone?
And whatever.
They're already doing that here. They're literally doing that here
Fucking
already.
tattoo it to me.
Seriously. Yeah, they're doing that here already.
But no one here is getting arrested and going to jail for 6 months and being charged up to $5,000.
No.
Per day.
Jeez. That's, oh boy.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, man.
But I don't...
But I guess France has done something like that. And they're talking about if it becomes to the point where here in America, like, business is already hurting because of this.
Yeah, businesses were hurting before this.
I mean, I'll go 100% online.
And now,
shopping, everything.
I honestly, aside from groceries, I did anyway.
You can do. You can do that too.
I know you can. You can. I mean, Price Chopper has their own thing.
Yep.
They do that, but
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon does it too. DoorDash.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, when I went down this like whole rabbit hole in prophecy, and prophecy has to do with biblical prophecy, and that's what prophecy is. Anything other than that is just clairvoyance, things of that nature. But I specifically went prophecy because that's usually the big names and the big things they're talking about, not like Dransky.
Nostradamus.
And that was a big one, which I thought I was going to get a lot out of Nostradamus, but Nostradamus actually led me down a couple other things, which were, like, as I got into them, I was like, holy hell, these could be 2 and 3 part episodes on their own. Just everything in them. I kept writing notes. I stopped after a while. I'm like, I can't, like, this episode is going to be 16 hours long. Like, he's going, like, there's no way I can do. So I was like,
welcome to day 3 of the podcast. We haven't ate, slept, pissed, or shit.
We're raising money for Australia.
I'm dying on the inside.
You've been dead a while.
Yeah.
No, but so you. I was like, all right, I'm going to keep this to like the basic like points here. And if later on we decide to actually go and create whole episodes based on one of these, we will. Most notably, going through like big names, the most recent notable one, and I've seen it pop up on TikTok and Facebook and stuff, and where it came from is a book that she wrote, Sylvia Brown.
Yep.
In 2008 wrote, so you know where this is going.
Yep.
2008, she had a book called End of Days Predictions and Prophecies of the End of the World. Right out there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all right, this is what it is. In there.
That fucking whore was the one that prophesized J.K. Rowling killing Harry Potter. Guess what, bitch? You were wrong.
In there.
They're coming out with a 9th movie.
In the book, she has one point, and it says, in around 2020, a severe pneumonia-like illness will spread throughout the globe, attacking the lungs and bronchial tubes, resisting all known treatments. Almost more baffling than the illness itself will be the fact that it will suddenly vanish as quickly as it arrived, attacking again 10 years later and then disappearing completely. Now, to make point here, she's been known to be wrong a lot too.
Yep.
But going through some of the things she's predicted and what she was wrong in, it wasn't like she was horribly wrong. And you could go out on a limb and even say, well, she was wrong when it came to this, but if you just tweak her prediction, it could automatically fit in something else.
Yeah.
One is like she predicted like she would die at 88. She died at 77. So was her prediction wrong by number? Yes. But she predicted she would die at an age with two numbers the same. She was right there.
Yeah, you can always tweak something to fit your agenda.
Is that probability? So, and this is the thing you're going to have with a lot of these. The more you go down like the list here, it's like, is it probability? Is it a coincidence? Or is there something to it?
I think in that generalization, in that general scope of that prophecy, you could go with it's like a percentage of all of them. Like she knew she was going to die at an old age. Well, 77 is considered an older age.
77 is 1 year less than the average age of death, which is 78.
So, yeah.
She said 88. So
you said, what was the three things you said? Probability. What could it be?
It could be probability. It could be whatever I just said.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what I just said.
Yeah, I can't remember either. I think it's a little bit of all three. Like it's a generalization. It's a little bit of probability. It's a little bit of there's something to it.
For something like that, but the fact that one that's going on, because I saw that before on social media, I'm like, someone doctored that. There's no way, because it was so oddly specific. Like the year 2020, a flu-like, a severe pneumonia-like illness, a global attack, lungs, bronchial tubes.
Well, technically,
no known treatments
because it started in 2019. It didn't come to America till 2020.
There were so many things that came out in that. It's like, that's oddly specific. Like, what are the chances of being on that much?
Well, dude,
maybe like the lottery. You have a 1 in 302 million whatever chance of winning the lottery. I'll put it to you
this way. A broken clock is right twice a day.
That's true.
It's got, you figure out the minutes, the seconds in a 24-hour period.
Right.
You mean to tell me 2 out of what? There's 24 hours, 60 minutes. So let's okay.
Oh boy, here we go.
I'm doing the calculator time. So there's 24 hours in a day. There's 60 minutes an hour. 1,440 minutes. There's 60 seconds in a minute. 2 out of 86,400 opportunities. Chances. Odds. Of being right. I'm pretty sure Sylvia Brown.
2 out of what?
2 out of 86,400. Yeah. Sylvia Brown was bound to get 1 or 2 right.
That's oddly specific. And of all the worst ones to get right, though, like, all right, let's just go out on a limb and say, okay, you're clairvoyant. You get the one right that affects the entire globe. Come on. Please. Yeah. Like,
I know. Like, give me something a little easier,
and then,
a little better to work on.
Just to be selfish, she bounces 11 years ahead of her own time.
Bitch. You could be going through this and then taking all the praise that you were right.
No, but she probably made that, be like, oh my God, this one's actually real. Good luck.
Can you make it look like it was natural causes? Okay, cool, thanks.
What'd you do? That wasn't even what I was going to do. Well, we got to get out of here now.
Well, okay. What year did she die specifically?
Oh, that I don't know. 2013, I want to say.
Okay. So.
Yeah, because she wrote the book.
I thought it was.
Yeah,
like,
it was. I think it was 2013.
I thought it was like 14 or 15. She passed. No, but I was wrong. Okay, so there's a story of a guy who died in a freezer box. Here's the thing. By all accounts, there was no reason he should have been dead, but he froze to death.
Wait, what was the story behind it? You had the beginning of the story and then cut right to the end.
About talking yourself into something.
Okay.
That's what Sylvia Brown did. She knew she was going to be right eventually, and she was going to be wrong about a bunch. She didn't want to be around for when she was going to be wrong, when she was going to be right. So she talked herself into dying. That's what it was. Because the story of this guy, which is...
You mean she bored herself to death?
This is a
what a
story.
horrible way to go.
The guy was loading, loading a freezer box. Somehow, somewhere, the door got closed. Well, he starts writing on the wall his last thoughts and moments up until his death. So getting colder.
He told me to record Murder, She Wrote.
Losing function, losing, thoughts becoming incoherent. The temperature in the freezer box, because the freezer motor had died, he was unloading it,
right,
was 56 degrees. He had enough oxygen to last days. He didn't last more than a day or two. He had enough oxygen and stuff in the freezer to live long enough to be found. But he died, and there was no. It just the way the way the medical report goes, his body just shut down. There was no reason for it. He was in good health, good state of mind, good state of being, up until he convinced himself in his head, "I'm in a freezer. I'm going to freeze to death. No one's going to come save me. I'm going to die." So in his last moments, he wrote everything down. And the internal temperature of that room was 56 degrees, which the human body can actually go down to and survive. I think it's like what, just above freezing? For prolonged exposure?
Prolonged exposure? Yeah, probably. I can't go too far.
The human body can keep itself warm enough in 56-degree weather temperature to not freeze to death. Or start losing or start suffering from organ failure. That's what Sylvia Brown did.
She locked herself in a freezer box.
She talked herself into death.
I'm right. I'm
going to be right. And
that's like a Simpsons episode.
Simpsons did it.
Seriously.
See, Sylvia Brown, you're not even an original with that.
What if she...
Although, if you want to talk about prophecy... Perfect.
You know, I thought about touching on that, and I actually opted to stay away from
what is Matt
Simpsons stuff, because there was actually some Simpsons prophecies that weren't true, and they were doctored through the years, and be like, look, it happened on this episode, and when you go back and actually watch it, you're like, no, it didn't. It actually isn't how it happened. There's been actually numerous of those that Simpsons prophecies that were proven wrong.
But how many of them have been right? Probably a lot more than Sylvia Brown.
I don't know.
So if that's the case, Matt Groening, where are you? Let's prophesize the future together.
I should have put that name on this list.
Matt Groening.
One is the second one I put down is probably the most infamous of all of them is Nostradamus. I mean, he has his own Nostradamus effect, like his own thing centered around
the Mandela theory.
Well, no.
Mandela effect, whatever it's called.
Yeah, the idea behind
Yeah, Nostradamus has the Nostradamus effect.
And that is basically something that was prophesied X amount of years ago. In his case, it was 500 years ago, almost. And an event happens, and you look at it, and this is what I was talking before, like when you talk about 9/11, and actually 9/11 is one of the things that it was said, supporters of his, they've claimed that he's predicted the Great London Fire, the Challenger explosion, Princess Diana dying, 9/11.
She didn't die, she was murdered.
Yeah, actually, yes. Sure looks like it. There's another conspiracy episode right there.
Oh my God. And now they got the movie coming out. It's called Spencer.
The Driver?
I think so. I'm not sure, but Kristen Stewart plays Princess Diana, and it goes up to the day of her incident.
That doesn't even... Whatever, okay. The thing with Nostradamus is... He used biblical prophecy, but he mainly used astrology in doing everything. He was like seeing the future, which he was denounced a lot in doing that. Yeah. He wrote the first almanac in 1550 using astrology, figuring out like in relation to astrology and planets aligning, like our weather patterns and everything else. I started to go down that rabbit hole with Nostradamus, but that led me. That led me to which ended up being bigger things, which I started going down like, geez, this is too much. Go ahead. What are you going to say before I go on to the next one?
You know what happened? I guarantee you I could reenact that night when he's like, I got something. It was probably like, yep.
Oh, Nostradamus. All right, I got you.
Yep. That's some good shit. Boom, out came the first prophecy.
How many people have done that? How many people have had, mostly on psychedelics, where they talk to interdimensional beings?
I just want to get probed. I want it to be a hot female alien too, with like 3 boobies.
What if she had 3 boobies and 2 dicks?
Does she have a butthole?
What if it's a Zim or a Zare?
Because
it's a
I'm all
Zim-Zare
for
alien.
butt stuff. God. We gotta have a butt stuff counter. Bing. Butt stuff said 10 times. Butt stuff 37.
That one episode we have where it debuted, it never ended.
No, it didn't.
Through the entire episode. Look at the Nostradamus thing and where he was getting a lot of his information from. One was astrology, the other one was the Bible. That led me into the Book of Revelation, which is the weirdest book in the entire
It's
Bible.
almost like erotic fan fiction.
It's not quite, but it going into the Book of Revelation, I was like, I've never really read much. You said you read the Bible.
I have read the Bible cover to cover as a book.
I
had to be objective 100%. I had to be 100% objective to religion to be able to read it, because if you read it in faith, oh my fucking God, it just tweaks you. But if you can read it like you're reading the instruction manual on how to operate your phone,
it does tweak you. Going through the Book of Revelation, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like,
real quick.
Geez. But it's the craziest one. If you go through the entire rest of it, minus another book that's in here that I have written down, which that one's the one that actually kind of blew my mind out of the water. I was like, what? But then I went into the Book of Revelation. Go ahead before I.
Can you imagine, like, if like people die and their spirits are up there or down there, wherever? Can you imagine what the people of Sodom are thinking? How the fuck? What did we do to have our city named after anal sex? Like, or anal sex be named after our city now? Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
The two cities. I mean, if I was up in heaven, like, can I file a fucking grievance, God? Seriously? Like, can we get them to change the name or something? Call it butt stuff.
Yeah, but butt stuff is so innocent, like a teddy bear. But then when you actually see it, the teddy bear turns into Freddy Krueger. It's like Five Nights at Freddy's.
I saw a TikTok video of a girl. She goes, "Oh my God, guys will fuck anything. Like, if they could summon a demon, they would try to fuck it." And it's this guy. He goes, He goes to the Ouija board, blah, 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 says a couple things. All of a sudden, it's like he's wearing a demon mask. "You have summoned me. What did you bring me here for?" He goes, "Wait, what?" He goes, "No, I'm going back to hell." No, and it shows him getting dragged.
I think I saw that somewhere. I think it was on YouTube Shorts. I saw that.
Oh, it was funny. But yeah, Book of Revelations. I mean, but you know what? So here's the thing. When you stop, if you tell yourself before you read the Book of Revelations, this is a book, this is a section of the Bible that is strictly designated to tell you what's gonna happen if you don't change your ways.
Most of it is already what's happened, actually. Most of the Book of Revelation is things that's already happened.
And that's the best part.
According to most people. Again, this is all...
subjective.
It's subjective, and it's a lot of symbolic writing in it. It was written, especially because when they talk about, like, the Mark of the Beast and... what that symbolizes, and that you can't buy anything or go anywhere without the Mark of the Beast, which when it was written in 54 AD, or at least when it was started, that was during the time of the Emperor Nero, which the Emperor Nero was huge on persecuting Christians, and all on the currency, it was all the Emperor Nero, his head on it, which the Christians at that time considered Nero the beast or the Antichrist. So you put 2 and 2 and 2 and 58 together, that all makes sense.
Yeah.
So that was the first part of the whole book.
Are you one of those people where if you go to the store and your bill comes to $6.66, you buy something else?
No.
Yeah.
My mortgage, the first year was $666.82.
Yeah, it wasn't 666 then.
No, and then it went
It had to
to
be all 666.
700 something. Then it went down to 682. But no, I'm not, because it's just money.
You're gonna laugh. I'm actually one of those people that it's like I look at my prices like, ooh, I should be about $6.60. Hopefully it's 666. I put my shit up there because every time that happens,
And now we know why he's so sad.
every
inside.
time, no, every time that's ever happened to me, where it's been $6.60, do you want to get something else? No, why? Well, just your total. I'm like, what's wrong with my total? Well, it's 666. I'm like, yeah, I'll use my debit card to pay.
But there's a zero in there.
No, but it's funny because like these people probably have no idea. They're superstitious of the number.
And that's because of a stigma throughout,
Oh yeah,
especially modern media, and not even media, but just I don't even know where, but just it's a superstition.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that is if you actually like go through the whole book of Revelation and look at where the whole 666 thing
That's what
comes
it
from
is.
and everything. There's if you read it and understood it and then went to the store and something came out to $6.66, it wouldn't bother you in the slightest.
That's what it is. That's what my problem with water is.
What?
If you're forced to have it a lot as a kid, you don't like it as an adult. Much like anal.
Oh,
I tried. I couldn't hold my face.
all right. I could take that a million different ways, and all of them would probably get us banned.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
We just got up that level and now we're back down. Way to go, Charlie.
no, that didn't go up at all. That was just down and then lower.
No, but we reached that special status now. And yeah, you guys are back down a level. Sorry.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks for bringing us into the dirt. The butt stuff dirt.
That's my style. Kick them while they're down. Richard Nixon, fucking Futurama.
Nixon tired.
Nixon's back. I'll break into their houses and mess up the places while they sleep at night.
The I don't even remember where I was. Oh, the whole vision thing. The whole
Revelations books.
Yeah, the whole book is written by John, who isn't the same as Baptist John or the Apostle, or it's a different John, who's very vague in the whole Bible. You don't hear much about him, but in that he gets a vision from a bright figure that tells him to go warn all the other churches. These seven what is it, candles there? I can't remember what they're called. So he goes and warns them. Then he gets brought before
The menorah?
Then he gets brought before apparently God, and during that, and
this mic is fucking with the product placement, man. Rockstar's gonna drop us.
Oh, I don't care. I haven't drank Rockstar in years. They have trash product anyway, so.
It's a good thing they're not. It's a good thing they're not our sponsor.
You know, but in this day and age, you know what would happen? I would say that, and then people would be like, "Yeah, fuck Rockstar. Let's go buy it."
Well, all the haters
Because
be
everything's
like,
so
"Oh,
backwards."
because this show hates it. I'm gonna fucking love it." Well, go. Thanks for hating us.
Yeah,
It's good to be hated sometimes.
Is that why you do what you do?
I do a lot of what I do so people don't like me. You know why?
Yeah, but you know what the funny thing is?
What?
Everyone I talk to outside of here, if you come up somehow in conversation, they're all like, "Yeah, he's a really good guy. He's a nice
I don't know
guy."
what the fuck I do. I don't do shit for nobody.
You're like the nicest miserable prick I know. Seriously.
What the fuck do I have to sodomite somebody or something?
No, then you'd probably be running for governor.
I know.
Look at him up there, getting all in that butt stuff, getting his hands and everything else dirty.
Why, who
apparently.
else do we know is willing to go to that extent to prove their point? We should make him the next president and take showers with his daughter.
I hate all of you.
See how I plug that in there? I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not saying it is. It's just one of the things they talk about in Ashley Biden's journal, whatever it is, diary.
Gotta make sure it's not allegedly.
Allegedly. It's a legend.
Make sure it's not doctored by Trump or something.
Yeah, I know, right? If that's Trump's handwriting, though, that motherfucker's got some pretty handwriting.
I like your hands. They're pretty smooth when they move.
It's like I'm shaking hands with an eagle.
The going through the book though, like there's a lot of comparisons throughout this. Like one when I first started, like when the book was written in 54 A.D.
Yeah.
to Emperor Nero and his empire and coming down the whole Christians and then from there they said then like Satan goes into 1,000 years like locked up until he comes back, which leads us to around now. Problem is around now.
Go ahead, viewers at home. Process what I just heard.
No, when the book was written is 54 AD, not when the Antichrist was struck down.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's just what you said after that. Said the devil would go away for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
54 plus 1,000 is 1,054.
No, but he wasn't struck down when the book was finished.
When was the book finished?
The book was finished in 95 AD. But there was nothing. The book was finished, but there was. They're not.
So has the devil even been struck down yet?
That's the question.
No, I haven't. Greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
Boy, you are the worst devil. So this devil was put on Earth, and all he does is have movie one-liners and quotes Futurama and South Park. Working for a truck company.
Fucking A.
I'll get my foothold.
I am the perfect product placement. I am the one that nobody sees coming. I am the one that everyone's like, hey, he's a pretty good guy.
How is it I know otherwise?
Because for every yin, there's a yang.
It's like women think he's creepy and...
Yeah, I know. What the fuck? Why don't women think I'm a nice guy? No, all the guy friends we'd have think I'm a nice guy.
It's like women can see through you and...
We know he's the devil or unattractive physically, so fuck you.
What if yeah, but even animals like you.
I don't want to talk about that.
Oh no, you like animals.
I'm not allowed in accordance with the pending charges. Not allowed to talk about animals in a sexual nature. I have no pending sexual charges.
Who said anything about sexual nature? Well, that's incriminating.
No, it's not. This is... I do not give permission for this to be used in the court of law.
All right, well, never mind. Scratch that.
You know it's going to come up eventually someday. We're going to be sitting on a bench for something, and it's going to be, well, do you remember when you said, fuck?
Actually, yes, I do. It's right here.
I hate you all. I don't hate you all.
Yeah, so a lot of people compare, again, just like Nostradamus, a lot of people compare like 9/11 and all these things. And especially now when we talk about like the mark of the beast having to be on like everyone who's followed them, you could make easy comparisons to what you just said with Australia. And that's why I said this goes
Mark of the beast. You want to get technical, let's look at Biden. He wants everybody to be vaxxed and have a vaccination card. Boom, there's your mark of the beast. You're presenting something that shows your support to what you worship, honor, lead, follow, whatever. True. But that could be Hitler. Same thing.
Also true.
But that's just
on the flip side, though. You could also say the same thing with Trump in comparison, because it's come across like he will be like the false prophet, and everyone will adore him. And like Trump came along, and he was against the grain. Everyone, well, not everyone, but the people who did adore him, like vigorously adored him, like a cult.
But look at the people who are vigorously adoring the Democrats or the Democrats. Yeah,
you could make the same argument for either side.
See, this is where the Bible fucking pisses me off. The Book of Revelation is by John. It's such a general. They used storytelling.
They're parables.
Exactly. And we could do that
but
right
is it the Bible that pisses you off, or is it people's interpretation? Their humanization and interpretation of it, and then saying this is what it means. It's like, well, maybe
pisses me
through
off
your eyes or experiences.
No. What pisses me off about the Bible, I actually like the Bible as a book. as a guide to living a better life? Fuck no. I can go buy a self-help book, masturbate, and get the same effect as reading the fucking Bible and practicing religion. What I'm getting at is...
You know where 99% of those self-help books get their material from?
The Bible. I know. That's why I don't read
verbatim, word for word, a lot of things that come out of them.
I can get
is a lot of all in Proverbs.
The Bible preaches about living a better life. Okay, great. You feel better for it, right? You are right there's a fucking sin. You're going for self-gratification. That's a way to look at it. It could be my interpretation. It could be so many people's interpretations of the Bible. The reason the book itself doesn't piss me off. It's the people's relentless faith in it, and they use it like a fucking gun. Like, I'm gonna shoot you with a word bullet, and you're gonna die from belief.
Elaborate.
Someone said, "Okay, I have family members. I used to be Catholic. I was Roman Catholic, actually, which a
lot of people who revolt or rebel against any kind of biblical anything, I find most of them are Catholic.
Yeah."
Yeah, and my mother was Catholic.
Yeah,
completely understand.
So I come from an Italian and Spanish family backgrounds, and that's enough said.
Right.
I have a sister who is fucking Bible thumper. I love her to death. I do, but we kind of have a thing going back and forth. It's fun. I have fun with her. Like this one time, I sent her a text message. Hey, I decided to pick up baking. She goes, "Oh yeah, you try anything special?" I'm like, "Yeah, I made these cookies, and I found this picture on the internet of these hands with their white frosting with jelly filling in the center." Mm-hmm. I go, "Yeah, I made these and just in time for Easter." And I sent her the picture. It's Christ's hands with the red jelly. She goes, "You know what, Charlie? They actually look good enough to the point where I'm laughing at the humor of that." But that's
as long as it's presented well.
Presentation.
Well, are those lemon or vanilla?
My sister would sit there like when I had an old skeleton come out of my closet.
Was it along with you or?
One of the devils I used to deal with. Let's put it to you that way. Yeah. I confided in my sister. I'm like, "Hey, look, I've kind of kind of picked up some old bad habits, and it's like, it's causing some problems. I just go, well, I'll turn to God." And I'm like, "What the fuck's that gonna do? Pray." I'm like, "Okay, I'll masturbate." "Well, what's that gonna do for you?" "The same fucking thing. I'm gonna feel better by the end of it." So the point I'm making is like,
Do you cry after both too?
For 45 minutes, yeah.
Well, all right.
And I usually film it. Only
fans only. Yeah, only fans.
Only fans. But she cited some proverbs. And I knew the minute she started saying a couple of them, I'm like, okay, yeah. Then I recited off. She goes, "See, you have the word of God in you, Charlie. All you need to do is practice it and you'll feel better." And I'm like, no. He'll
be the one in 20 years that actually is a turn. And he becomes either born again or he goes back to Catholicism or something.
No, I'll pass.
I've heard that before.
I'm prophesizing that in 20 years, I'm not going to be religious.
All right, Susan.
Any more religious than I am now. Surely you must be serious. Surely you must be joking.
I am serious. Don't call me Shirley.
Don't call me Shirley. No, but it frustrates me because people get...
I could see you in like a yellow polo shirt and like khaki shorts and be like, "Howdy ho, neighbor-oo." Oakley dokley.
I swear to God, if the day ever comes, I want you, of all people, the day you see that, I want you to kick in my basement door and expose me for everything I'm doing. Because you're going to see some fucked up shit.
He's down there holding a prayer service or something with his children. Like, I expected different. Okay, I'll just leave you to your thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
No, I'm digressing. It just pisses me off because people will take the practicality of the Bible. They'll take the word of the Bible and try to apply it to practicality. And it's like, you can't really do that because
take it
the parable.
Word for word verbatim.
Like the parables you called it?
Yeah. Teaching stories.
That's anything. George Washington chopped down a cherry tree. He also never told a lie. Bullshit. He chopped down a cherry tree to be more relatable. He never told a lie. Bullshit. There's not been a single fucking politician that's ever been 100% honest.
What?
Yeah. Hate to drop that knowledge bomb on you. Hate to drop that truth. And I know it's going to change a lot of things. Don't cry. It's all right.
I'm going to have to ask Santa for a lie detector test now.
I hate
Wait, what? You're not going to...
Santa's not real, buddy.
I knew that.
And now you're going to cry and masturbate for 45 minutes. Cry and or masturbate at the same time.
I'm just going to rub my legs together. They, what the fuck? The next thing in this...
let's go.
It led me to the Book of Enoch, and that compared to the Dead Sea Scrolls. This one I found was fascinating, because this was written in a 7,000-year span, and they compared the Book of Enoch, which is a complete piece of the Dead Sea Scrolls they found, which is written in terms... The time frame is written in terms of days... or weeks and days. Each week is the equivalent of about 700 years, and each day is the equivalent of one. So that, and they had events broken down during it, and one leading into the prophecy of 2025 being the midway point through week 9, which would be 2025, and then compared that to the midway point of week 2, which is what's the year 1506, if I remember correctly.
1506.
No, 10,000, or it was I think it was 1056. The significance of those two things right there, the midway point between 2 and 9, being the second year and the first year before the second week and the first week before the last, is two main things that happen. One is the flood, apparently, and the other one, the midway point of that was the birth of Noah, which would lead to the flood. And the midway point between the whole thing, which had during this, the Dead Sea Scrolls had nothing to do with Christ, but they were lining up the time frame between the Book of Enoch and the Dead Sea Scrolls, and it was lining up perfectly, which is written about, 200 years before the Bible, something like that.
A couple centuries, yeah.
They were lining these up, and the midway point between all of them was like the creation of a house and destruction of an empire, which would have been the birth of Christ. Now, that's the midway point between the entire timeline. This whole thing, it was I'm super paraphrasing this, and it's so in-depth. I had to listen to it 3 times in order to get everything straight. The midway point through week 9, which lined up to be about the year 2025, was... this is where the question comes in: would that be the year of something prophetic happening, or is this a mere coincidence through the lining up of everything else that happened in it? Again, there were so many events during it, but the main points was the halfway through week 2, the halfway point of the line, and the halfway through week 9, where we supposedly are now, and that would be again the year 2025. Mm-hmm. Now, there's no denying that right now, everything in the world is altering and changing at such a rapid pace, it's hard to keep up with it.
Oh, yeah.
Not even technologically, but in the last 50 or 60 years, it's almost like a snowball has just gotten bigger and faster and faster. We can't keep up with it almost. I made the point, something happens, and then a week, not even sometimes something happens, and later that day, something is there's no way that'll turn into this. And then it doesn't. It turns into something even crazier than... the pedo flag was one of the biggest... I'm still buzzing on that one. Which, again, I called that jokingly a year or so ago.
Yep. I do remember us discussing it.
Watch it just turn that into a thing. It's we're going to jump on that. And then sure enough, they're trying anyway. It's not an official movement or anything like gay pride or anything like that. But the fact that they have a flag and the colors mean something, that is definitely a push for something.
Yeah, but...
point being is we're definitely in this time of weird transition. And even if you don't want to equate it to any kind of prophetic anything. The fact of the matter is, historically speaking, whenever major empires are on the brink of destruction, the biggest things that go wrong in their society is argument over gender, same-sex marriages, complete police, not police, some whatever form, I guess I'll just say police for modern significance, police breakdown, and everything that's important to them is military and political power, and the top staying up top and the low, or the middle disappearing, the low being lower to support. What was said in that whole Russia, what's his name, the defector from Russia we talked about a few episodes ago.
I don't remember his name, but his video was interesting. And
that Marxism that he was talking about in the 70s when he came over here, which is basically what is happening right now, the whole Marxist movement where the victimization's basically given power, and he was talking about training the whole youth to change an entire system. Again, not going with prophecy, but there is a major shift right now, and it seems like the quote-unquote greatest country on the face of the earth is horribly shaken in the core, and it's like this hard armor that was on the outside is thinning and thinning and thinning and thinning, just waiting for someone to walk over and push it over, and the whole thing come crumbling down.
Yeah, but so in respect to that, the prophetic ideal of it, you could say that to any empire over the last 2,000 years.
That's what I just said.
But you referenced today.
Yeah.
But look at any great empire that has come to fruition and collapsed.
Right.
Dynasties over in China, the Roman Empire, the American government. Every great empire that has built itself up to a position of superpower eventually begins to crumble from within.
Mm-hmm.
That's I can't equate that to a prophetic.
That's what I just said.
Oh, okay.
You just
I'm
reiterated everything I just said.
Well, I thought you were saying...
I said not taking this prophetic, just looking at it, this is the history of great empires. This is what they do.
Yeah.
On the flip side, could you equate that? If you took the whole work, and this is just going by the Bible things, this is not talking about Isaac Newton or anything. Mm-hmm. If you just go, although he worked with biblical things too. Again, prophecy mostly involves biblical, whatever. If you look at the Bible as a step-by-step kind of equation, I guess you could say, and say, okay, if we take this and instead of trying to prophesize things, let's just say this is more of a guidelines, like, look at what happened in the past, and this is what's happened in the past. It's pointed out in all these sections, all these chapters, verses, and what have you. If we keep doing this, which has kept happening in the past, they've made mention of Nero and his empire. They made the Roman Empire. They made comparisons to the Russian Empire, and what's said in the book of Revelations is a red dragon, which could be equated to communist Russia, the USSR, came, he spread his power through a third of the globe, which by 1960, whatever, like it was into the Western Hemisphere in Cuba, where the Cuban missile crisis came from. And that's when we said, hey, if any missile comes out of Cuba, we were going to react like it came out of Moscow. So that's when they had the whole Cold War thing. So both of our fingers essentially was on the red button waiting for the other one to push first, and it was going to cause all-out war, which is another thing.
Nuclear holocaust.
Yeah. Which is
end of days.
If a nuclear war happened, you could equate that. Listen, if this happens, then the fourth seal or trumpet, one of those, I think it's the trumpet, was blown, and then the earth was surrounded in darkness. The
horseman cometh.
Well, that was after the fact. The earth was surrounded in darkness.
I know, one line in the Bible for dramatic effect. I want to keep the people at home on.
Point is like you could draw, like you could look at it and be like kind of like connect the dots.
Okay.
So if it's taken as that literal sense, or not literal sense, but it's taken as like, listen, this is pointed out in every major empire. We just compare. Don't maybe.
But here's the thing.
But yet here we go. Human nature. We just keep repeating the same.
So you busted my chops earlier about one-liners, blah blah blah. Quoting Futurama. There's a part. I already drank the water, you fucker.
You need more water.
No,
Send in the water.
There's a episode of Futurama where Fry becomes the cryogenic defrosting therapist or whatever.
Right.
Counselor. The one guy he unthaws says, yeah, so what made you decide to freeze yourself and come to the future? He goes, oh, well, I thought time was circular. He goes, nope, linear, straight line. Time is linear. It goes on a straight line. There's no going back.
Does it?
That we know of. Allegedly.
This could be a whole lot of...
Allegedly.
Or is time just created for us? Again,
History.
What I opened with this, because we need... This leads to that.
Yeah.
There's order. Did we just create time?
Yeah, probably. But history is
hard
secular.
to say.
History is secular. There's no end to it. It'll always keep repeating itself. No matter what we try to do, all the same
History
thing.
never repeats itself. History always mimics itself.
Okay, there you go. History always mimics itself. It's secular.
Right.
We go around the same old song and dance, just a different tune. And no matter what we try to do, no matter who points it out to us in the obvious, hey, look, if you add 1 to 1 to 1, it's going to equal 3. Okay, so let's change it up this time. We're going to do 2 plus 1 plus 0. Did we get a different outcome? No, we got 3. 0 plus 0 plus 3. Did we get a different outcome? No, we got a fucking 3. Doesn't matter what happens. Doesn't matter how we change it. We're going to keep having the same thing happen and happen again. Because, like you said, it's human nature. We created time because we need this to go to that. We need...
You're telling me boy bands
are going to eventually come back. I hate it too. Trust me.
I can't wait.
You are fucking gonna die. No, but
Those are the lyrics.
Those are the lyrics. I think. No, fuck you. Fuck you. Ah, fuck you. I remember the song now.
Earworm. Asshole. It's gonna be stuck in your head now for 3 days.
It doesn't matter because human nature dictates. We have to be. We have to.
It just looks like you're super excited.
We have to get advanced. We have to get ahead. And
of what?
Of the next guy, the next piece, the next society, the next government, the next technological advance, the next medical breakthrough.
I mean, like a race.
We're always racing to the finish line.
How big was Sputnik?
Big.
Wrong. It's the size of a grapefruit, buddy.
No, the whole story.
Oh yeah.
The Russians. Oh, the Sputnik up in the sky. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
Because we were racing to the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, size of my nuts. I mean, size of a grape.
Mm-hmm.
We made a big deal over that. Fucking Kennedy died. Thankfully, not too many political figures have been assassinated recently, but...
That was a big deal. That was a turning point, and...
But did we go to the moon? Did we?
All right, Eddie Bravo.
I don't care what anybody says. I genuinely believe in the moon landing.
Oh, so do I.
I think, honestly, we got up there, and it was expectation versus reality.
Yeah, it's like...
We're going to go up there. We're going to have unlimited cheese, or whatever they thought the moon was made of. And it's like, we get up there, we're like, fuck this. It's like a dusty old
Dr. Steve Brule. It's just a dusty old stone.
Yeah, it's like, oh, there's a fucking stone. Oh, let's go.
You ever see Apollo 18?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Was a damn good movie.
I could buy that.
I watched that and I'm like, what the fuck? Oh.
There was a question. It's like, well, how come we just stop going up? And that was always a wonder. It's like, yeah, why did we stop?
Yeah.
And then it was explained to me. It's like because the expense was way more than the gain that we got from going up there. So we go up there just for it's like there was rocks, dust, there was some
nothing.
Yeah, so we were spending millions and millions of dollars to get there to get rocks that most of them we have here.
It's like Earth. That hot stripper you want to bang. You pay enough for the lap dances, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, this really wasn't all it was meant, I guess.
God, it's like a rotten watermelon.
God, I'm just going to masturbate and cry. No, fizzle. No, but I think history, that's the Bible, the Book of Enoch, the Book of Revelations. They're just guidelines to what was happening, what they thought was going to happen, and we talked about in a prophetic prophecy, from a prophecy viewpoint. A broken clock, like I said before, a broken clock is right twice a day. Make 1,000 predictions. One of them is bound to be right. We could probably make an episode. Literally, I think we should make an episode where we literally, I think this is going to happen in 50 years. We have a 0 to 50 year margin, window. We have to make prophecies about government, law enforcement, the education system, the church, the infrastructure of the workman, everything, the world. I think we should do an episode like that. How much you want to fucking bet? We get at least one right.
If we go, well, it can't do that in technology based because technology is almost, you can easily see where we're going with technology.
I don't mean that's why I didn't say technology.
Yeah.
But I mean the education system.
I will go out on a record right now and say if we do not shift our direction socially and socially right now, soon, pedophilia will be an accepted sexual orientation or relation. And 10 years ago, 5 years ago, you could say no. But now,
what's sad?
I genuinely think you cannot just dismiss it.
I literally just played out a scenario in my head to try to disprove you, and it kind of fell into soup.
You can't.
I literally let me run you through my thought process. You just said you predict socially if we don't, pedophilia will be accepted as a sexual orientation. In my head, I was like, no. You know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be a psychological disorder. Like gender identification disorder.
Right.
Until eventually they do science and prove it that it's genetic coding.
Right.
Like homosexuality. I genuinely agree. I genuinely believe that it can be choice or people can be hardwired that way.
Mm.
I now, unfortunately, I don't say unfortunately, skeptically, no, I can't even say that. I do believe that there are people who suffer from a gender identification disorder, and then I do believe there are people who were hardwired to the other to an other gender, an alternate gender, but because we've messed with human genetics how long, and we still catch anomalies? You mean to tell me that the human genome, the human code, is so laid in track that even with the genetic engineering that the human brain can't slip through the cracks,
right,
and somebody be born as a man who genetically their genes tell them they are female?
Well, there's people that are sexually attracted to vehicles. That's not a joke. That's a real thing.
I know. There's people that are.
But then here's the argument to that: is that
inanimate objects?
Is that a mental disorder? If you walk in and I'm plowing your motorcycle in my basement,
why'd you gotta go there, dude?
Do I have a problem?
Do I have to put a cover on it? Oh no, that's protection for you.
Yeah. Seriously, do I have a problem?
No, I don't think in that instance.
I firmly believe I have a fucking mental disorder. If I'm downstairs railing your motorcycle and I'm sexually attracted to it, that's a fucking mental disorder.
Can you say it like you're Bowflex or something? My bike's feeling dirty.
That's next.
I can hear it crying.
That's next. Those arms, I'm gonna wrap them around me.
No,
seriously, that's I cannot in my head spin that another way. Where I could see where you love something. No, man, that is a mental disorder. If I'm down,
okay, so no, hold on. The physical attraction to, let's do a broad, I'm going to name a bunch of things right here.
I only say that because I saw something a couple years ago where someone who was actually sexually attracted to, it was a muscle car, but they admitted to plowing the back seat. Like penetration in the back seat.
So I'm going to go on record.
Which is weird.
I'm going to go on record to say, and this is great. It'll lead me into something else. I'm going to go on record to say that there are people that are genetically hardwired to be physically attracted to things that they cannot understand. I do also believe, I'm going to go on record to say this, that there is a number of people who, you're correct, it is a mental disorder to be attracted to certain things. I'm going to go on record to say right now, I do not condone pedophilia. There is not 1 ounce of anything, research, scientific study, no matter what, that you can give to me, present to me, that I'm going to say, oh, it's okay for them to feel that way. It's not. But that doesn't change the fact that there may be something wired wrong in their fucking head.
That reaction is a perfect reaction. Because what I just said, with that mental disorder, whatever I just said, your reaction of defending it, even though you are also not condoning it, there's like, well, there is this, is the exact defense that pedophilias will use. And there's like, well, there are a number of people because they think of this way, they might be mentally disabled. But are they not wrong in how they feel because they can't control it? They will use that same defense, and that will bring it about.
But I will go on record to say it is still wrong. It is still wrong.
For pedophilia?
Yes. There's no way you can spin that to be okay.
But to us, because that's what we accept. Their argument, I'm telling you their argument will be only because it's our social construct, because that's what we also hear all the time from people that are Zim, and I am a woman because of this. It's like, no, you're a woman because social construct. One I just heard today is, how come we don't, the baby takes the male's last name, the father's last name, and not the mother's last name? Sure, there are instances where that happens, but the way it's laid out, why does it happen this way all the time? If you go back, the baby could take the mother's last name, but that's the father's last name. So there are no mother's last name. Which this guy said, because of social construct. That same argument will be used in pedophilia. But the only reason that we are not allowed to love children in that manner is because of our social construct. That will be their argument.
So in regards to that,
it's one of those things like someone calling you a racist and you can't say anything about it.
This is where I disagree with you in that sense.
I'm just saying this is what they will use. This is what their argument will use.
It will never come to fruition. In my opinion, I don't think it'll ever come to fruition where it'll be an accepted orientation.
Right.
Because you ask a pedophile, how old do you need to be able to make an adult decision? How old do you need to be to understand how to drive a car? How old do you need to be to understand how to shoot a gun? How old do you need to be to vote, to make an educated decision on voting? Mm-hmm. No human being can say, oh yeah, a 2-year-old can vote on the next president, because they don't have the scope.
18 doesn't have the scope. 21, maybe not even 24, maybe.
I don't even know. I wouldn't even say up until your 30s.
Well,
can you educationally make a decision based on the future of your government?
Nowadays, probably not. No.
Nowadays, well, no. Even back in the day, like let's go back to the 60s. 20-something-year-olds, what were they doing? Fuck the government, man. Yeah, let's have sex and have fun at 20-something years old, because they thought it was better to promote love than get a job and pay your taxes and contribute to society to get that reward.
But that was also in a time when the JFK assassination.
Let's go back. 1918, 1910s, 1920s, the big immigration, early 1900s, let's go. People were all against immigration. Oh, Italians were literally... Do you know that's where the mafia started? The mafia started because the Italian immigration wave that came over in the early 1900s, even before that, 1800s, late 1800s, the early 1900s, the big Italian immigration wave, there were so many coming over that they were literally walking off the boat, getting shot and pushed into the water. Families were
Italians
losing.
were.
Yep. There was other demographics, other countries.
The Irish.
Yep. There are very few that had to go through like that. But I'm using the Italians as a big one because Hoover was the president. Herbert Hoover was. It might have been Roosevelt or Hoover. No. Back then, who was the president?
Roosevelt was, depending on what time frame you're talking about here.
Lyndon B. Johnson? No, maybe not. When was he? Who was the president between 1900 and 1920?
Oh, God.
Really quick, let me fact check this because I got it. This is a big rant for me. Give me a second. Presidents from 1900. No, not 1800. 1900 to 1920. They're listening.
Meta.
Roosevelt. He was the president. It was Roosevelt. It wasn't Hoover. It was Roosevelt or Taft or Wilson. I want to say Roosevelt. He was the one who went on record to say the Italian immigration is the worst thing happening to this country.
Mm-hmm.
Blacks. He made a remark about blacks being more beneficial to the government, to the country than Italians, and the best way to rid America of the problem was to get rid of them by any means necessary. Our president, and I'm sorry, I'm not knocking, I'm not saying slavery was okay, whatever. I'm not saying that. But when a president will sit there and say, in a time when blacks had it bad too, that the worst thing going on and to take care of it by any means necessary was the Italian immigration wave, yeah, there's some other people that have been through some shit.
Right.
The Jews. So
at that point,
the mafia came out because at night when they would sneak Italians off the boats, they needed protection. Italian people would see, the people already here, would be like, oh, that cop's going to go kill some people, some guineas coming off the boat. Let's take care of it. That guy goes in the water, 20 more Italians come off the boat. Alive. Back to their families, et cetera, et cetera. It's the point I was making. 20-something-year-olds back then, the life expectancy was what, 40, 50?
In the teens?
In the 19-teens, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 48, 54. So I think it's like 54, 52,
at 20-something,
like
even at 20-something then, you were expected to put your head down and do your job and contribute. You weren't allowed to pay attention to the ongoings of the everyday life. You had a job to do. And it was the 30-something, 40-year-old something people that were making all the big decisions. So that's why I say, fast forward to today, even 20-somethings now.
But that was also in a time where the working man was like legitimately the backbone of the country. Now it's...
Yeah, but at 20-something, you weren't expected to think. You were expected to work.
Because that's what was needed.
Exactly.
Now everything's so easy, we don't need the working man.
Do we? Yeah, we don't need the working... We do. Well, we will always need a working man.
More animatronics coming out and everything. It's becoming less and less.
More robots?
But less people are going to be needed to fix all this stuff.
Yeah, well, okay. Good point. But yeah, even at, I don't know, even into the late 20s, I don't think you can make an educated decision. So that's where my point was going before with the pedophilia. No matter what, it will never be a socially acceptable orientation. Because...
Seriously.
Yes. I genuinely feel never in our lifetime will we ever see pedophilia as an acceptable sex orientation, whether that cannot be... Okay, rewind. Never in our lifetime will we ever see pedophilia be accepted as a sexual orientation that is okay to pursue. I don't ever feel it'll be a socially acceptable orientation that is not okay to pursue. I don't think in our lifetime we will ever have to bear the burden of accepting that as a sexual orientation.
What about after our lifetime?
I don't know. I can't predict the future.
What'd I say? 5 years? 10 years? It'll happen?
5 to 10 years. But back to what I was saying before we got into that, before you made that comment. I know. And I fucking hope not. But unfortunately, look at sociopaths, look at murderers, look at the social construct says it's not okay to go out and murder. But there are people that could not help themselves. They went out and murdered. Serial rapists.
Speaking of,
serial
you can't
criminals.
even say that now. What was it in Chicago? They just had that it was a gang fight, I think, and there was 5 people involved. 70 rounds were shot off, and one person was killed, and nobody was charged because it was a what'd they call it? They called it a what the hell was it called when 2 people fist fight? It was a
accidental death?
No, it was combative something or other.
Yeah, like murder and self-defense.
No, it was like when 2 people fight. What the hell is the name?
Like a boxer. Like if 2 boxers are in a ring and one boxer kills the other.
No, it had nothing to do with death.
Well, no,
the reason why no one was charged is because they saw it as just 2 parties fighting each other. It was a willing exchange.
A casualty of war.
No, they made no mention to casualty. Nobody was charged with anything. Somebody died. The point is the police, nobody charged these men with anything because they said it was a willing competitive nature of them shooting at each other with guns.
It was a gang fight?
Yes.
Okay, so now look at war. Look at battles. Look at Vietnam. Did we bring home every troop, every soldier that had to kill and arrest them for it? No.
We're talking about war compared to a gang fight with kids and civilians.
But what I'm saying is, I'm not defending it.
I just don't think there's any defense there.
The only logic I could see behind them not charging is because, much like when 2 boxers enter a ring, they knowingly get into the fight, knowing the risk. It's sanctioned, it's permitted, it's licensed, whatever. They signed the waivers. Now I'm pretty sure none of these gang members signed a waiver where, okay, I'm gonna get into a gang war today, and if I die, I die. No one's held responsible. But that's the only logic I could see behind
There's no logic there, though. There is zero logic.
I'm trying to find some.
There's nothing there, though. Like I
understand what you're saying. That there's someone should be arrested for it.
Everyone there should be.
I agree. But what I'm saying is this is the only thing I can fathom that would be anyone's thought process.
I don't even understand how you could say that would be like that would go. That's like right along the pedophilia thing. It's like there is no thought process here. There is zero thought process.
No,
there was a gang fight. Someone died. No one got charged. What's the defense?
I'm not saying there's a defense.
Well, there is obviously a defense because no one was charged.
What I'm saying, listen. It's like when 2 people drag race, when 2 people go cliff diving, when anybody goes bungee jumping, when anybody does anything that could risk their life, they enter into it. This is the only logic I can think of. I'm not saying I agree with it.
You're stretching though. You're doing DDP yoga like some crazy backwards.
Whenever anybody knowingly enters into an engagement of any type that could risk their lives.
And the lives of others?
And the lives of others.
How does boxers affect my life?
What I'm saying is, listen.
I'm listening.
I'm not saying I agree with it, dude. Let me reiterate
You're doing some origami with your body right now, the way you're stretching.
Fine. Then let me finish folding the bird.
May I just point out that you're dressed like a mime?
I have no stripes, asshole.
This is the box that he's in right now trying to get out.
What I'm saying is, like I said, I don't agree with it. Let me emphasize that. They should all be arrested. I agree.
Right.
The only logical thing, the only sense of logic I could think that somebody might have tried to use in their head, the only thought process that made sense was, well, they all knowingly shot guns at each other. They all knowingly knew someone could die. So someone died. That's it. They knowingly engaged, took the risk, suffered the consequence. That I don't agree with it.
Now, what door does that open up now?
That opens up plenty of doors in the sense of if, let's go with the political parties right now. If 100 Democrats took 100 knives and 100 Republicans took 100 handguns and fought, who do you think's going to win? Don't answer that because you never know. But no one can, if they knowingly, and let's say they signed waivers. Let's say they signed release forms.
Who's writing these waivers?
I'm just saying, if they all knowingly and willingly accepted the ramifications of their actions and still engaged, no one should be held responsible. 100 people versus 100 people to defend their political party. 100 Democrats with knives, 100 Republicans with handguns decided to duke it out to settle any and all future disputes. That'd be so great if that's how it was. That's terrible. I'm sorry. I'm not promoting violence. I'm just trying to make a point. If you knowingly, like I said, that's the only logical thought I think that I can come up with that someone got in their head that dismissed it. I'm not saying I agree with it. I don't agree with it. If you take another man's life in the heat of the moment by any use of force, you should be held accountable. And when you want to go back to the war, when I made that point, unfortunately, the soldiers that have those confirmed kills, they live with that every day. That's why there are soldiers, veterans, current, former, deceased, that suffer from PTSD. They took a life. They have to suffer with it. Boxers. How many boxers do you know of stayed in the sport after taking another man's life? No. 90% of them have stepped out of it. MMA, race car drivers. I personally know a woman truck driver who, even though she did not take the man's life intentionally, he stepped in front of her truck. This is when I worked at Target in the dispatch, in the guard shack. I stopped seeing her, and then she came in with a cab one day. And I'm like, hey, how you been? I haven't seen you in a while. What, you don't work for Swift anymore? She literally started crying on the spot. I'm so sorry. She drove away. Comes back an hour later. She's got a bag with her. She comes in. She's like, Charlie, can I get a cup of coffee? Because we had a coffee machine in there. Poured her a cup of coffee. She goes, let me tell you what happened. And she spilled the whole story about what happened. And I felt so bad for her, so empathetic that I like, yo, give me a hug. I'm sorry. Yo, be good. Be safe. Try to live in peace. A gentleman wanted to end his life. Stepped in front of her truck on the thruway. She was doing 65. She wasn't even doing excessive speeding. The system, the black box in the truck, we all have them, clocked her at 65 on impact. Missed. The guy turned into a mist. The guy took his own life by suicide through her truck. She could not physically drive. Up to this day, I know someone that stays in contact with her because she's been going to therapy, et cetera, et cetera. I asked him, yo, how's she been, man? He goes, oh, she's day by day. She's still, this is years after it happened. She's still slicking up about it. She still will not drive. She won't even get behind the wheel of her own car. She cannot drive a vehicle. She suffers daily knowing she took another person's life. Someone's got to be held accountable by whatever means. Mm-hmm. Whether you suffer internally, mentally, whatever, or you suffer through the judicial system. But if you are willing to release any and all responsibility, fine. I mean, how do you think doctors feel? Doctor-assisted suicide.
That's euthanasia.
Euthanasia. But do you think those doctors go home and go, man, I had a good day at work today, filled my quota?
They can't do that. Although they do that to post-birth babies now. Yeah. Like, not third trimester, not even supposed to do, but there's certain states that they allow, if the baby apparently is deformed or going to have health risks or something, the baby's birth, and there's some states, I think Virginia is one of them, at least at the time, where they would actually ask the parent if they wanted to actually get rid of the baby. Which will make you... I didn't believe it at first, but then I saw there's a video of the governor talking about it. I'm like, what? Or at least the governor at the time talking about it. It was a couple years ago. Like, what the hell?
I can't support late-term abortion.
That's what it is. It's post-birth abortion.
I can't support post-birth
Which
abortion.
I'm pretty sure that's just a ginger soft way of putting murder, like child murder, because that's what it is. The whole argument with the whole, they're not going to go super down this abortion thing, but the whole argument with abortion is like, well, when do you consider a baby a baby? When they take the first breath. Well, if a baby's born, assuming it's not stillbirth, that's the first breath, according to these people who support abortion. Now you're aborting it after them. So where do we draw that line?
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I am, and this is probably going to piss some people off, but I don't care.
Spanish and Italian? Oh, I know. My inbox is full all the time. It's like, this fucker's still on?
I am pro-choice for the first trimester, because...
Which is a libertarian thing. That's, again, the classic libertarian is like, this is my
But
deal.
I'm also pro-gun. I'm also pro-speech. I'm also pro-expression. I'm pro a lot of things. I'm not pro-pedo. I'm anti-pedo.
Yeah.
I'm an anti-torpedo. I'm anti-towards pedos.
What?
I'm a torpedo. No, but, so, yeah. I mean, I will never accept pedophilia as a sexual orientation.
What if
Socially. But, like I said before, about being wired, yes, I will go in agreement with it being a mental disorder. But if someone's hardwired wrong, you can't change what I don't think nobody. All right, so okay, this is where the confusion's coming from. I don't think right now, genetically, any human being can be wired to be sexually attracted to a child, or a pubescent teen, or a teen, or an adolescent, adult, whatever. I don't think us as creatures.
How do we measure that with anything, though?
Well, if we can measure,
because when people
the brain
say
levels,
the quote unquote, "Oh, I'm wired to like pansexual people," or "I'm wired to like men," or "I'm wired to like women."
If we can medically see,
my question is, how do we medically see it, though?
Well, they have. I don't know the details.
See, I don't even think
there
we should be
is
speaking
science
on it
and research behind the gender identification. I don't want to say disorder. There's research out there that shows like there's.
How come you don't want to say disorder?
Because nowadays,
not because I'm going to call this or that, but just out of curiosity. You're very. Every time you come up to that term, you pump the brakes a little bit.
Well, because I don't want people thinking. I do believe that there are people who suffer from gender identification disorder.
What was it, like 4 or 5 years ago? That was fine, and now it's not.
Well, I just said it. Hold on. Because in the context of what I'm using it as, I do believe that there are people who suffer from gender identification disorder.
Right.
And that is a mental disorder. But because based on the science and the research and the studies that they have done, they have shown that certain people who they thought suffered from gender identification disorder. Now I just can't say the word. People that they thought did suffer from gender identification disorder.
GID.
We'll
just call it GID.
There's more of an imbalance, and despite therapy, that's not changing.
Right.
So now, through the research, the studies, and the science, they've developed where now it's, what's it called? Gender identification. No.
Dystopia?
Gender.
Or dysmorphia?
Yeah, where it's gender identification, or gender assignment disorder, syndrome, or something like that, whatever it's called.
Oh, good Lord.
Gas.
GID, gas. Yeah, GID or gas.
Whatever it is, now it's no longer a disorder because the like I said, the stuff that they've done proved that even with therapy and medication, it doesn't change the wiring. It doesn't change the inner workings or the thought process.
Right.
There's still something there. So it's almost like the human soul, the human spirit. They say 99.9% of the human genome has been mapped, but we can't map that 0.1%. Or whatever it is, 1%, whatever it is. A lot of people, like religious or philosophical, like, oh, that's the human spirit. That's the soul. It's unmappable because you can't see it. It's just there. Same concept. There's something in there that's off, but they can't move it yet. Genetically, we can alter, like tomatoes. We can fuck with frog DNA. We've developed vaccines through animal testing and genetic engineering, but they can't change that yet. Like I said, people who are serial criminal, like people who rob, people who anger. Stuff like that. That despite they're predisposed, they're predisposed. Yeah, predisposed to this nature.
Anger? No, that's learned.
Well, not so much anger, but like
I know what you're talking about. But.
Yeah, well, because nowadays they say like children with aggression disorder or aggressive tendencies. You know, it's like even though they're finding these kids in perfect homes. So what's going on? Well, they have more red lobe or frontal lobe activity, which is more
overstimulation,
or whatever. They're seeing the flags. They're seeing the light ups, whatever the lights go on. Whatever
I know what you're talking
about. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. I will never accept it as a sexual orientation. I will always, but wiring, it goes back to that. You can't, I don't know. It's confusing. It's such a fucking risque thing to discuss. It's such a, you could say one thing, like we were talking about before. I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with pedophilia. I'll never be okay with pedophilia. I don't think in any way, shape, or form should it ever be acknowledged as a sexual orientation. But if they can prove that there is something wrong, that there is past the mental barrier of it, unfortunately, it will come down to a genetic disorder, not a mental disorder. It'll come down to a genetic. There you go. That's what it is. That's what it'll be in our lifetime. It will be diagnosed as a genetical disorder.
Genetic disorder?
Yes. Yes. All this fucking rambling and rant. I hope you folks at home enjoyed it.
So that would mean would mean it would run in their family?
No. That's a hereditary disorder.
That's true.
But if you can prove that a person can be hardwired to be sexually attracted to men, pansexuals, cars, goats, women. I said that last because I am sexist apparently, and I put women last, not first.
Jennifer Lawrence would hate you.
I hope she does. I hope she fucks the shit out of me. I'm gonna fuck the shit out of you, ref. Whoa, no, that's okay. He's my cousin. Zach getting ready to make a porno. But yeah, I will go with that. I can say in our lifetime we will see it be identified as a genetic disorder. Where now we've got to figure out how to change the human genome. Not so much map it or understand it, alter it.
Here's the question then, because alter the human genome. Right. First off, where do you think that would lead us if we were able to?
Oh, down a fucking dark and deadly fucking.
Would it be bad or would it be good?
Bad. What's every good applicable use intended will be fucking tweaked, like the split in the atom.
But what good could come out of that?
Curing disease. Curing cancer, curing any and all faults in man.
So here's the question. What if it takes the acceptance of pedophilia and the recognition of where it comes from to open that door, Pandora's box will say, to be able to cure all these diseases? Do we open that door?
Yes. I don't ever feel we make it a socially acceptable legal orientation. Never. In the state of in the fucking existence of humans, should we never accept pedophilia as a socially acceptable sexual orientation? Never. I actually don't. 18 is the legal age to 17 is the legal age to consent in New York State. There are states as low as 13. That's weird. 20. You can't buy cigarettes till you're 21. You shouldn't be able to stick your dick or get stuck by a dick until you're 21.
But you can vote and go in the military.
Yeah,
Figure that 18. One out.
I know.
So you can vote for the leader of the free world at 18, but can't smoke a cigarette. Yep. You can tell what you want everybody else to do and how they should be, the country should be run, but you can't make your own choice.
Let me ask you this. If by opening that door, any and all pedophiles decide, let's get fixed. Let's go have them alter our genes, fuck with our chromosomes, genetically engineer, change our brains.
That won't happen.
I'm saying that would be some good to come of it.
Sure, but that theoretically, yes, but that won't happen because of all the other movements that are going on right now. Yeah. All these woke movements. That's the bandwagon.
And you have to think too from their standpoint. Oh yeah, if I come forward and say I'm a pedophile or I'm sexually oriented, my sexual orientation is geared towards children. I'm fixed. I'm cured. I like grown women now. I like adult females. Yeah, well, you still were attracted to kids before. Yeah.
Or at the very least, yeah, well, that was my kid a year ago or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And what father, not even parent, just what parent wouldn't do that?
Oh, I would in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Like I said, I will never accept pedophilia as a sexual orientation.
I don't think most people would.
Except for pedophiles.
But then again, I've also said that for a lot of things that we see in real time going on right now, and I stand corrected.
All that rambling before, please.
Weekly, I stand corrected.
If you put anything in the title of this video, please emphasize watch to the end. Don't even title genetics, pedophilia, prophecy. No, put prophecy. Please watch till the end.
I'll have to put it in like we kind of go off the rails.
No, like watch to the end. Prophecy, go off the rails. You make sure in big bold letters.
It kind of ties in because my whole thing was like I'm going to prophesy. Well, then you said, "Well, we can call the future from now." Like I say in 5 years, and that's how we got on this spiel.
Yeah, but no, we should. I genuinely think one of these days, one of these episodes, we should sit down, pad, paper. We don't need it. The digital age. We have all of it.
I still write everything down.
But I say we genuinely write down 50 predictions.
50? Can't we just do 5?
10 apiece.
Oh, all right.
And I guarantee I'm going to prophesize right now that one of those prophecies will be right.
In the next 50 years?
Yep.
But
one out of 20.
If we're gonna do it like a lot of these guys, we got at the very least, go about 250 years in the future.
No,
because most of these, Isaac Newton's the newest one on here, and he's only 200 some years ago.
Yeah, but with like you said before, with the way the world is advancing, snowballing, 10 years, 200 years ago, 20 years was a long time. 2 years ago, 20 years now is nothing. For advancement,
right?
The invention of the light bulb took how many years? Mm-hmm. We've reverse engineered computers and have the next fastest thing in a matter of a year. So when you okay, look at it this way: 100 years ago, 1960s, how much was a car? $1,000.
Right.
So when you sit there and look at a Ford Mustang in 1969. On the lot for $2,500 and a Ford Mustang now at $35,000. You're talking about almost a 200% increase.
Right.
A 300. You're looking at a 200% increase in inflation. time is the same thing, except it's in reverse. 100 years ago, it took them 10 years to invent something.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays,
now it's like 6 months.
Exactly.
Maybe a year.
So, you want to do 200 years? Fine, be my guest. But I guarantee we could do it in 50. And like I said, 1 out of those 20 will be right.
Do you think?
And thankfully, we'll be alive to see it come to fruition.
Do you think that all these rich, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, going to space is a good thing?
Yeah. I think going to space in any regard, except for espionage, is a good thing.
So do I. Here's my only argument to myself. What if they found something out that we don't know, like impending doom, and that's why they're suddenly developing this technology to go into space just to get themselves off the planet, and we're all left here discussing it on podcasts?
Oh, shit.
Did you see the movie Greenland?
Yes.
All right. What if that? If you've never seen Greenland, I think it's on Netflix or Amazon. Watch it. Awesome movie.
It is a good movie.
It was one of those movies. I was like, Greenland, what's this? So I watched it.
Yeah.
And it ends up being an apocalyptic movie. I'm like, this, and I love apocalypse movies. Yeah. Absolutely adore them. And I watched it, but it was a good movie.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a good movie. And it's not a super original story. That idea has been done in 2012. The movie 2012. But it was just done very well. I think Jeff Bezos.
I'm texting him right now. And Elon Musk. We're in a group chat.
And Elon Musk are going to Mars because they're going to watch the Earth crumble. Actually, they probably watch.
Well, I just text Elon. I'm like, yo, what up, buddy? Hey, we still down for the space shuttle?
Well, you talk like a gangster.
Yeah. Yo, he's ghetto, man. He's straight up ghetto, man. He's straight up gangster. You saw how he threw that ball against that truck window? Unshattable. Motherfucking thug. He threw that baseball right through that window. Unbreakable glass, my man Elon.
He just sold off what 1.2 or 1. I think it was 1.2 billion dollars worth of his stock.
Yeah, a lot.
I watched this because I'm invested in Tesla, and it went down, and when it was
it's gonna go up. Watch.
Oh, I know. I go. What's gonna happen? It's gonna go. When I got in, it was like 750 something a share, and it went up to like, what was it? $1,200 a share, something like that.
Did you know we've almost been at this for 2 hours?
Oh.
Holy fuck, bro.
It was like 1,200, something like that a share, and I watched it's gone down to 1,000.
I want to do a podcast about investing. I think that'd be fun. Because I would like to learn more.
Dude,
I don't know.
I'm still forever learning.
Yeah.
I've been into it a year or so, something like that. I don't know. Yeah, it was when it was not even a year
really? Yet. Elon just texted me. He wants me to come bang his wife.
But what if he's married to one of his ships? What if his wife?
Oh, wait.
What if he's one of the ones
I'm going to give that ship?
Oh, it's going to burn you.
Not any more burning than I suffer now.
There's no feeling. God.
Oh, speaking of feeling and burning sensations, save this for the next podcast. There's a new VD out, and it's flesh eating.
And on that cliffhanger,
flesh eating VD, baby, it's coming.